y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make a really fast chicken pot pie. I've made this before, so this won't be the first time, but I'm just going to throw one together real quick. I thought I would bring you along. I've already taken 2 cans of mixed vegetables and I drained those. And this is just a pantry meal, stuff I had already in my pantry. So usually I do double crust, but this time I'm not going to be able to do that. I've only got 1 crust, so I'm just going to go with it. And meanwhile, I'm also cooking something else at the same time. So I may have to stop every now and then to fix that, but maybe we'll be fine. Okay, you're going to need 2 cans of mixed vegetables drained. Also preheat your oven to 375. And I'm going to use a family size can of cream of chicken soup, which is probably too much, honestly. But our chicken will soak up some of it. Alright. Okay, set that aside. And we're going to add about 1.5 chicken breasts, maybe 2. And I just shredded it. I've got this little neat little thing that I got off Amazon that I just used to shred it because I have to cook so much. It would just be kind of handy to have. So hopefully I'm not overdoing it on this because this is only going to be 1 pie. Now usually what I do is I mix all this together and season it a little bit before I put it in my pan. And I'm trying to find my seasoning. I'm going to try some other new stuff today. Okay, so I've got some chicken seasoning for Mrs. Dash. So I'm going to put some of that in it, which I've never done that before. So we'll see how the reviews go. And some onion powder. And I usually don't do salt because of the cream soup. So I'm just going to put in pepper. Okay. And just stir it all together. It's really just a dump and go kind of thing. And you can change it up however you need to. Like this time, I'm only going to use 1 crust because that's all I have. So I got my pie pan out. Make sure you can see. I'm going to dump all this in. Now normally if I had a double crust, I'd have a crust here, then dump the filling in, then put a crust on top. But it's okay if you don't have a bottom crust. I prefer it, but ooh, the shredded chicken, what a mess. I prefer that, but like I said, I have 1 in the freezer to get rid of, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do with that? And then I was like, I can make a, let me get this off here. I can make a chicken pot pie because I had some mixed vegetables to get rid of and a can of soup to get rid of. All right. So we season everything. If you ever forget to season it, you can go ahead along the top and season it just a little bit. And that'll kind of help. All right, let me get my crust. I have my crust laid out and it's thawed. And I usually do not roll these. So whatever mess this creates, it just creates. You know, roll them out with a rolling pin. I don't typically do that. If I'm trying to be real fancy and there's company coming, maybe. But most of the time these work good. Probably shouldn't have let it completely fall. little bit messy, but it should work. Okay. All right, center it. Wipe my hands off again. And then I just tuck this under. And then if I had another crust, I would kind of just tuck them under together. But I don't. And this is most likely is going to shrink. So when I show you the finished product, I'm probably going to have it already on the plate. And we all know it's going to be messy anyway. You know? So that's it. Just a really quick, easy little dinner. And it definitely will feed everyone. I want to just poke some holes in it. Usually I can take a knife and make a little decorative whatever. But today I'm in a hurry. So $3.75. I'm probably going to put this on a cookie sheet or baking sheet. That way that if it runs over, it's not going to make a mess. And then your crust needs to be brown and hot and bubbly is what we're looking for. Hot, bubbly, and brown on top. Alright, I'll be back in a few. Okay, y'all, so this is a finished product. I took it out and just brushed a little bit of melted butter over the top. Stuck it back in there for just a few more minutes. And you can see it was starting to cook over. That's why it's always good to have one of these. Real easy and quick. Anytime you've got like a little pantry situation going on, there's some stuff that you would like to get rid of, you can do this with just about any vegetable. Chicken's always just a better meat to do it with, but you can also do it with turkey. That's also a good choice. So just really quick, easy, simple, and strictly budget friendly. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make some roast chicken thighs and vegetables, and we need to marinate before we preheat anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mix our marinade up, and then we are going to put it on our chicken, and then we're going to stick it back in the fridge for a little while and put a touch more. Then we'll work on the rest of our vegetables and things that we're going to have to go with this. I'm only going to be doing potatoes, fresh green beans, and yellow onion. So that's going to be our vegetables. You can always add more than that, anything that you would prefer, but that's what we're going to do today. You're going to need a couple tablespoons of oil, preferably olive oil, but if you don't have it, that's okay. A teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder. I want to be a little bit more generous with that. About a half a teaspoon of seasoned salt. And I use less sodium Lowry's seasoned salt. Some pepper. About a half a teaspoon or so. A teaspoon of paprika. And we're going to put some lemon juice in this. And you only need probably a couple tablespoons. Oops. I hate doing that. I do that every time. Okay. That's plenty. I keep that in my fridge on hand at all times. That way I have it for recipes. Okay. So the recipe calls for 6 chicken thighs with the skin on. But I am going to do 8, I believe. And we are going to pour all this over top of some chicken thighs. Let me go run and get those real quick, y'all. So I've just used a big family pack of chicken thighs. And my marinade's a little bit thicker than what I want. So I'm going to put a little bit more lemon juice in it. And we'll stir it up a little bit. Now, this is 9 chicken thighs, which I didn't want to use 9, but I only had one left in the pack. I was like, I'll just use it. It'll be fine. So, what we're gonna do is let all these pieces of chicken get some marinade on them. And then I'm going to just continue to mess with them for the next 30 minutes while they're sitting in the fridge. And let all this stuff sit on them, okay? And then I'll come back here and we will start working on our vegetables. We've got to get an onion peeled and quartered. We have to get some green beans washed and snipped, and a pound of potatoes washed and chopped. So we've got a little bit of work ahead of it for us, but we'll have everything ready and we'll go in the oven and we will be done. Dinner will be served. Okay, 30 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, so now it's time to get everything thrown together and put it in the oven. You need to make sure that your oven is preheated to 425 and make sure it's good and hot before you put any of this in here, because we want some crispy chicken. Okay, y'all, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your potatoes. You can use a 9x13 dish if you would like, but I'm gonna just use a sheet pan. You're gonna put your potatoes on here and your onion. And you can mix them or you don't have to, because when you go to serve it, it's gonna mix anyway. And there's no way that these onions ain't gonna find these potatoes in the oven. So we got that. We've got about a pound's worth of green beans. You know what? I'm gonna put these green beans separate. Let me move everything over. Do that real quick. So we're gonna put all this on one side, and then we're gonna put our green beans here. They're all washed and cut, ready to go. Just gonna set them there. Can y'all see that? Okay. Now, before we put anything on this, because the chicken's gonna go on top, we're gonna sprinkle. We're gonna drizzle this with oil. And I'm gonna just kind of cover all the potatoes. I did red skin potatoes, but you don't have to. You can do whatever you got. And then green beans. Wipe my hands off. Now, I have this garlic and herb seasoning. Here, it's so hard to find stuff like this that's not very, very expensive. So I just use Mrs. Dash. It's my fallback because it's cheap. It's usually only a couple of dollars. But you use whatever brand you want to. Garlic and herb seasoning is what you're looking for. Okay, so there's that. And then we're going to salt and pepper it as well, because this is Mrs. Dash. It is salt free. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now you're going to take your chicken. Let's see if I can find a fork. You're going to put the chicken on top, if you can get it out of the bowl. You're just going to set it on top of your vegetables. And remember what I said, the oven's got to be hot before you stick this in there. Completely preheated like it's supposed to be. And then use some of this seasoning. Wipe it all over everything. All right. You're going to take this seasoning, you're going to sprinkle over the chicken too. We're just going to sprinkle just a little bit. And then, yep, that's all. We're going to bake it for 45 minutes or until the chicken reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees and the vegetables are tender. So about 45 minutes. Do not put it in until you reach 425 degrees, then do it, okay? So give your oven plenty enough time to heat up, 45 minutes, and you should have dinner. All right, I'll see you back here in a little while. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. Really easy and simple. These type of meals always are, so it's always a good go-to. And even using fresh vegetables, I like that better. It doesn't take much to cook that at all. A lot of people are afraid because it's fresh and it may not taste right or be right or whatever. I prefer that over canned or frozen any day. If I didn't have the fresh green beans, I would have did canned. I don't like frozen. To me, it doesn't taste good. But you can do however. This is very adaptable and very easy. Okay? Make sure y'all like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.